Hi, here's my August update on Malaysia, my second home, and some background information about Malaysia. We're having a bit of a tough time here at the moment. We've been under lockdown for 2 months now. The government's set certain milestones that have to be achieved as we move into the next phase of the National Recovery Program, and we're still in phase one of the 4 phases. And the main reason for that is because apparently we have to reach 4,000 cases a day before we can move into phase 2. And the number of cases when the lockdown started were running at around 7,000 a day. And to everyone's surprise, 2 months later, we're now running at 17,000 cases a day. Unfortunately, the government doesn't seem able to tell us why it is that after 2 months of lockdown, the cases have more than doubled. So it is a concern, and sadly it's a reflection of the fact that the governments here are not known for their transparency. A number of trade organizations, some foreign business chambers have written open letters to the government saying, please relax the rules because of the economic damage that's happening. Even suggesting that foreign multinationals will look at pulling out of Malaysia if they don't see some change in the rules. However, the government is basically unmoved. They're not responding to these requests. They're not even giving an explanation for why they're remaining so tough, although the rise in cases does suggest that it's necessary, but it still begs the question, why are they still rising when theoretically we're all in lockdown? We're not allowed to travel around the country, so the tourism industry is suffering really badly. Hotels are closing permanently or temporarily, but it's obviously been very bad news for them with the borders closed and no domestic tourists. On the positive side, the government has ramped up the daily vaccinations, and some days have even exceeded 500,000 first and second dose vaccinations. At this point, about 30% of the country adult population has been vaccinated, and the government is aiming for herd immunity in either September or October. That remains to be seen. But we are hopeful that relaxation will start before that so that businesses can get started again, because right now a lot of companies are going bankrupt, a lot of people are losing all their income, and some people are really struggling to survive. So it's a rather sad story on that front. Now, to more specific MM2H issues, just want to talk a little bit about my travel pass. As I think most of you know, it's on the immigration website, and if you want to return to Malaysia, that's the application you have to use to request approval to enter the country. If you want to leave Malaysia and you have an MM2H visa, and you would like to get approval to come back before you leave, then you use My Travel Pass as an exit and return application. You must state that you're in Malaysia, you're taking a trip. It's important, if you can, to give some documentary support to it. A doctor's letter if you're going for a hospital visit, some other evidence, certainly if you have both vaccinations, should be included. You can use the application multiple times. That's not a problem. Some people have been hesitant, thinking it might end up being a negative, but apparently that's not the case. The rules do change from time to time, and people are being allowed in who were previously rejected. For example, people from the 23 banned countries, because of their high number of cases, are being allowed back in if they've been fully vaccinated. So there's some good news on that score. We even had one gentleman who managed to come back with an expired MM2H visa. He wanted to come back and renew it, and applied and was approved. That was a surprise to us, because the rules we were given state that if your visa expired, you had to wait until the borders were open before you could come back. So if your visa has expired and you want to come back, give it a try and see what happens. And please share what happened with me, because the government is not very open and we don't get much feedback from them on what's happening. They often ignore our emails. So we rely quite heavily on individuals to let us know how they fared. That's basically all I have this month. As I said, we appreciate any feedback you can give us. I also want to remind you that our company, our group is called TEG Media. TEG comes from the expat group, which we used to use as our brand name. We have a fully licensed MM2H operation, so we're happy to help if we can with any of your visa needs. And we also produce and publish the Expat magazine, and that can be read online free of charge on our website, expatgo.com. You'll also find a lot of articles on the website about what's happening in Malaysia, so you can stay up to date with the kind of news that expats like to know about. I'd also like to mention our magazine, Senses of Malaysia, a quarterly magazine, basically about tourism in Malaysia, but it also covers the people, the culture, the architecture, the history, and it's a good read. And if you're looking forward to vacations in Malaysia, it's certainly well worth flicking through the pages. Again, you can read that online. You should go to our corporate website, www.tegmedia.my, and you can see it there. So until next month, when I certainly hope we have better news to you, stay safe. See you then. Bye.